This morning on our real estate show, moving jobs, careers, mountains, property in COVID, coming out of COVID. We've got one of Australia's biggest real estate trainers, Lee Woodward here. Lee Woodward's going to talk to us about what people are looking for in their training, what people want to be trained on, because at the moment, the last 3, 4, 5, 6 months, a lot of these trainers are not filling up rooms of 1,000 people, but the necessity has been there, is there. Good morning, Lee Woodward. Good morning, James Lampley, new to real estate. You're going to come in with your experience as well, but let's talk about you first, Lee. Good morning to you.
Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for having me on the program.
Morning, guys.
So, yeah, guys. So you've been the last 3 days, over a 3-day period. You're talking to how many real estate agents in the industry?
Well, this week was very different. I've been on Zoom non-stop, as you can imagine. Monday, I spoke in 3 countries because Zoom allows you to do that. You do UK in the morning, Australia in the middle of the day, and you can do Sweden in the afternoon. So that's all good. But this week was very special as we had the Hunter Valley course for the Complete Salesperson course, which is the first one that hasn't been cancelled this year. And I must do a shout out to the Crown Plaza Hunter Valley for the incredible way they handled the COVID safe event. We had an enormous room that would usually hold 2,000. And we had 156. That was our total we could have. So the spacing and distancing of where we had 3 people to a table, we had 1. And the experience was just amazing. But what was great for me was who chose to attend, why, and this shift in thinking of, okay, this new world pandemic has not only affected the world, but it affects your own thinking of, well, should I go back to doing what I did? Maybe it is time for a change. No matter what I've done in the past, what if I did something else? And real estate's one of those brilliant, strange careers that you don't need a uni degree to do it, but you can be rewarded very well if you're good with people. And if you've got a good story and you can warm to people. Real estate's not so much a technical job, it's a personal connective job. And this week, Mark, the type of people in attendance that were, we've always got our superstars and agents who've been running 50 years. And actually, we had a moment on stage. The incredible Stephen Giddos got up on stage, who's 60 years of age, and he had the most technical, brilliant digital tools in the marketplace. And all the young kids were going, geez, I better pick up my game. Look at this guy go. And no gel there, but just perfect use of digital. But there's Stephen just so passionate about what he does in selling real estate. Then we had others in the room. We had a sporting celebrity who very famous coach at the NRL, and he was coming along just to, I'm going to do a career in real estate. Although I've done this for so long and I'm so good at what I do, what if I do something different moving forward? And I think that shift of thinking and shift of thought is a powerful thing.
Lee, with what's really interesting is you're talking to 1,000 people, right, over the course of a couple of days. These thousands of people are talking to maybe 100 people in the course of their day, week, month, whatever. So whatever is happening in these courses is actually resonating out to, 10,000 people, maybe 100,000 people very quickly. So I'm really interested to know in that food chain of the training, what are people wanting to learn? James, who's here as well, we thought was great to host the show today because he's fresh to the industry, and he looks at things through different glasses than any of us as well. But Lee, what's the hot topic that people want to know about that you're training on?
Communications. So traditionally, real estate was if you had the gift of the gab and you were fast on your feet, you would do well. It's the total opposite now. If you're a good listener, you can communicate well. You get good, accurate, detailed information to a consumer who respects and also is very appreciative of the effort and sweat you put into getting that detail to them. And then the owner, the potential seller of the home, if we look at our main job as a real estate professional, Mark, it's to protect the asset. And that could be if the property's for sale, it's going for lease. It doesn't matter if it's residential, commercial. When someone engages an agent, they're wanting that skill set to protect the asset. Get me a great rent. Get me a great price. Don't leave money on the table. Be thorough. Get that invisible value across to the next purchaser so that I can profit from your knowledge. That's why I need an agent. So, and digital multimedia communications, and not saying this just because I'm on your show, but Novak Properties would be the best multimedia real estate business in this country. And I actually spoke about you guys yesterday.
That just cut out just there. What did you just say?
Novaks are very good at what they do. But I'll give an example. I was speaking about you guys yesterday. I was on a Zoom with the vice president of EXP in the States, and they got 60,000 agents across 12 countries. But I was explaining how this video multimedia world and what's going on, beaming out of DY is like a nuclear reactor. And you look at how people respond to the different ways of buying and selling real estate. I think this pandemic's brought about a real humble moment of lift the veil and let's just chat. I don't need to see drones going over my bathroom. Just show me through the thing and I'll make a decision.
Isn't it interesting?
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting? James, you got any questions for Mr. Woodward?
Oh, it's hard. I have so many. I must admit, it feels like I'm chatting with the real estate gods this morning. So, yeah, I explained to Mark and Lee, this is the 6-month anniversary for me today. So you guys must have 50 plus years behind you.
Hey!
Well, Mark and I used to go head to head in the same street. So it's good fun to be here this way.
Is that right? I won't ask who came out on top then.
So what do you want to be trained on, James? If you're, as out there new in the business, what do you find important? Because this morning's topic, guys, is about new career, new property, moving mountains. I got the jet behind me, which is ready for takeoff. So we're talking about that dramatic change. What do you want to see out of that? What change do you want to see, or what training do you want to sort of get new to the industry?
Well, it's an interesting question because in the time I've spent here at Novaks, I've done in plenty of different roles already. So mainly working in the commercial side of things, but I've got to experience a little taste of sales, a little taste of rentals, of business development. So for me, I'm just trying to get the broadest wealth of knowledge that I can at this point in time. So from someone like Lee, I just want key tips, pieces of advice, things that you think, habits to create every day that might, lead me in a better direction from the past or from the last day. So for me, I would just be asking for the little tips because there's so much information flooding through at the moment that I think I need to create good habits to set myself up for the long term. So I think that's really where I'm at.
I'll give you a great tip first up, James, because that was very well articulated. One of the blockages that people have when they come to training, so the people that were there this week, on average, they write down about 75 to-dos or actions that they're going to do. But most people every day have this massive to-do list, and then they get home and they feel flat because they didn't get through enough stuff today. And every day they've designed a game they cannot win. And you've got to design a game you can win, which was a great point from Will, who was on our show a couple of weeks ago. So instead of having a to-do list, your to-do list is your memory list. And then just pick one thing you're going to do on that list. Write it on a card because it connects to your brain better, or write it on one piece of paper. Finish that, throw it in the bin, scratch it off the memory list, not to-do list, and start to play a game that you can win. But so many people overload themselves trying to do so much they do nothing. I know myself, I just try and do 5 key things a day. One of mine today was to say hello to the world on some sort of social media so they know I'm still alive. And in my continuous marketing world, that people go, I saw Lee here, there, or anywhere. So to be invited onto the greatest multimedia agent station in the country, I've already hit my first thing before 8:30 today. It's amazing. That's right, before 8. So how productive is today? There's my one thing.
Where are you, by the way?
Well, I've done the Hunter. I'm now in Foster because my wife's at some bender with all her girlfriends from last night. And then we're off to Byron. And then we're back down to Port, where I'll be working with an amazing company in Port Macquarie. which is Mr. David Gray's team of Elders Real Estate. I've just been appointed there to do training, and I think I've got 65 agents on the ground there, and they are a phenomenal team and very excited to be working with them.
Looks cold out there.
Oh, yeah. This is the Sunrise Reporter. Even the Dolphin just put a jacket on.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a legend. So, Lee, the big topic for training, the big topic that people want to learn about changing career by, getting into a property, those, I think you mentioned pace when we're off air as well. That seemed to be very important to you.
Yeah, I think there's lots of people they look at people's jobs and they think, oh, I could do that. That could be easy. As soon as you think something's easy, actually, when anyone uses the word easy, they're describing someone's job they've never done. So people walk into a house and say, oh, we could remove those walls. That'd be easy. Have you ever removed walls in a house? It ain't easy at all. Oh, it's double brick. Oh, that'll be easy. Well, let's make it open plan then. Well, it's holding up the roof. So not everything looks easy. But one thing I do like about people changing career is how gutsy they are. So, this week with my NRL incredible coach coming over, it's very difficult to be brilliant at one thing and step into something else that you know nothing about. And you're going to want to try and replicate that same level of performance immediately, and you can't because it takes some time to connect the dots, get your pattern, order, and sequence, and be good at what you do. But I have a firm belief if you've been good at anything, you can replicate that with your passion to do it again. So some people are great cooks. If you're a great cook, you could be a great agent. It's all a recipe. If you were good at sport or you were if you've tasted success, you will replicate it. If you haven't, you'll keep bouncing along forever and maybe you haven't stuck down to anything long enough to be good at it. So Mark, you and I have been in the real estate industry for 30 years and it feels like yesterday, but it's just now
60 years together.
Think, wow, 60 years together. But in that first year, actually in our first 2 years, both of us did incredible numbers that wasn't being done by others. But it's only now you can look back and even realize what you did. You were doing it with such natural ability. And for both of us, we won so much business because people didn't think we were real estate agents. They thought we were just normal humans, whereas everybody else was a typical real estate agent. So I think learning to be you and having that ability to communicate is and real estate in the next decade is going to be the most exciting place to be. But I think we're going to see a different agent coming in.
Well, I spoke with Alex Bataris from Ray White Corporate. He's the auctioneer as well. And we were talking about the rate of change in real estate because I think that the way you used to build your brand, and this is really interesting. I remember seeing something with Kim Kardashian, the one of the Kardashians that does makeup. I can't remember the brand of makeup. She became $1 billion company. I think it was within 18 months. And the only way she marketed her business was Instagram. And equally, I think it was L'Oreal. I think it took them 70 years, 70, to become $1 billion company. So for people that are starting their careers, to scale it en masse, it's a very, very exciting time to get in because if you're considering getting into real estate within 1 or 2 years, you can explode. What a world.
Yeah. And, I'm forever asking people, what did you do before this? So James, what did you do before real estate?
I did education at uni and I was a tennis coach and I traveled the world doing tennis coaching for a number of years, which was great, and made the switch just before COVID. Okay.
So in that one thing, I can tell you're used to repetitive moments, repetitive actions, which means you can repeat a performance. That is that exact thing I'm speaking about, that if you've done something, there'll be a connection to it. My number one female agent, who'll do about 160 transactions this year, was a hairdresser. But not just a hairdresser. Hairdressers have a skill of adapting to anyone, everyone, and can really fast-pace a conversation. They have an incredible communication.
Like a good barman.
100%. So, and then you look at my best presenters, there's no coincidence they're good karaoke singers. You know, all these things are amazing that no one thing happens in isolation.
Yeah.
Matt Steinway, you know, everyone talks about Matt Steinway. Matt was a bouncer. Now, a great bouncer never fights. They're very different to a bad bouncer. A great bouncer never fights. They know how to negotiate, very good with the ladies, and make sure everyone's safe. So, you know, Matt going into lounge rooms, it's about that people buy and do things when they feel safe. And he's coming up on a negotiation workshop with us this week, and such a different style, his own groove. And I love that about people. I love that about real estate, that all of us can be different in the same space and get our own result.
That's a cracker. And but just to harness what you've been saying, and I talked about it the other day, in America, 1 out of 4 people love their job. 3 out of 4 are in a job that they're not passionate about. So I think it's a great start just to be doing something that you love. So if anyone's considering through COVID changing work, and you can just get that 1 out of 4, you're going to be straight away and stick to it. You're straight away in a good place.
And Mark, just on that, for anyone watching this program right now who's been considering a career in real estate, and you're all worried about, but you know, I haven't been in real estate. Well, let's stop for a moment and say, what have you been in? Because what you've been in could be the greatest driver that makes you competitively different. So, for example, if you're a muso out there right now and you know how to plug in keyboards, guitars, cables, cameras, and you're not scared of being on camera and you understand equipment, you would be way ahead of most agents, because you could be a multimedia agent doing your own Facebook channel just like this right now. Yet the agent who's trained in real estate has no idea about multimedia. So it's amazing what your strengths and weaknesses are, but people don't give thought to that. They give thought to the challenge versus, well, what have I got? What could I bring to the table if I got into real estate right now?
Play to your strengths. Tell me the biggest fear that real estate agents have at the moment. I'd love to, I can, with COVID, you can almost smell the fear in industries or on people. In our industry as real estate, and the people, because you're seeing thousands of people and their questions that are agents, they're leaders in the property industry, they're advocates, they're ambassadors of the property industry. What's their biggest fear at the moment?
Their biggest fear is it's going to seize up. It's going to lock. And locked, it's interesting, the word locked, because we can't swear on air. So I'm going to use, this person's locked. Locked means you've stopped the communication process. Like everything we do in communication it's the oil in the cogs. And if you haven't been speaking to enough people over enough long period of time, you've got no one to talk to, you will end up locked because they don't know who you are. So even the 3 of us all on this today is to keep that groove of oil of, hey, we're here. Do you want to chat? Do you want to talk about it? And being in an advice line in real estate and helping people move, which is all we do for a job, we help people. For me, I help people move in their thinking. So this week, Mark, when all those people come into the Complete Salesperson course, as famous and great and wonderful as they are, when they walk through that door, they've gone as far as they can. It's only what they learn over that next 2 days they will progress. And I think every one of us wants progression. I think we all don't want to be stuck or locked or trapped in what we do. But
on
being
every level,
locked in a job you can't stand isn't a great win. Like maybe it is time to shift your thinking or learn some new skills. I know one thing about you, Mark, that I find very, very interesting, before that bird takes me out, is you're constantly learning and you're constantly checking out stuff. And it could be digital, but you drive from the front. So today I'll buy a couple of magazines in the video, camera, audio, musical industry, and I'm checking out stuff that's out there that I don't know about, that I need to know about, because I live a life in the multimedia communication industry. It just happens to be real estate, the product that we're involved in.
Yep.
But I think a lot of people, when you speak to them, you've got to ask, are you whinging or you're winning? And if you're whinging, what aren't you learning? because if you don't learn, you won't earn. So what's on your learning menu? What's something you are passionate about right now that if you learn, you'd earn more money and be more valuable in the team where you are? So James, not that you even know this yet, but in the future, when the next young leverage agent turns up, the greatest way for you to learn even better is to teach them. And because you've taught tennis, you'll be a valuable asset to Mark as we grow our new blood coming in, because we're looking for some 22 to 25-year-olds who want a passionate career in real estate to come through the Novak system. And what an opportunity that you could join a company like that. But back to our point, pace. Pace means productivity, activity, commitment, and energy. So someone may say, I'd like to work at Novak's. Yeah, I don't know if you keep pace. They run round. They're in like a land jet going between houses. They're pretty crazy. There's salami and coffee going off. You got to make sure you can keep pace with the Novaks. They're no normal little corner store there.
Keeping up with the Novakians.
Keeping up with the Novakians.
That's it. Good morning. We got a guest on the show this morning. So give us a wave. Little Foster wave
there.
there.
So we got, so Lisa just wants to say age is no barrier.
Correct.
She also wants to say that you're a legend, Lee.
Oh, God bless her. You broke up there. Just say that again.
You're a legend, Lee. Lisa wants to say you're a legend, Lee. Lisa wants to say you're a legend, Lee. And Luke Brady.
Thank you, Lisa. Good morning to you.
Luke Brady says, dream team, and g'day to everyone who's watching. So, Lee, thank you so much. And for anyone who's the nuggets to take away from one of the biggest real estate trainers in Australia from today, the topic of changing careers, changing houses, moving mountains, the takeaway nuggets, Lee?
I think, what's something you are passionate about, you should be learning now that will progress you in the future. Don't be afraid of shift. Number 2, don't be afraid of shifting your thinking. You know, a lot of people, it's like I don't often go to school reunions because it seems like people are still doing what they did then. Yet when you travel a lot or get to see different things in the world, I like how people have shifted and changed their thinking and they're doing something different now. So don't be scared to shift your thinking. Number three, if you've been good at something, replicated that performance and you've won something, everyone says, oh, you do the best cakes in the world, you're so good at it. All you've done there is pattern, order, vision. And anyone in business who does well knows how to repeat the performance. Number four. Once you've got all that down, strip it back and remember this. Success is about consistency. So Lisa Novak is a wonderful example of this. I have people say to me, oh, I posted once and I didn't get that sort of result. Lisa's doing 2-3 hours a day there consistently to get that result. It doesn't just happen in one. And I'm always amazed at how many people will say, oh, I tried that once, I'm never doing it again. And I don't want to sound crude here. And I say to them, I'm sure you had a bad sexual experience, but that didn't stop you. Like, let's give it another go. And people try things once and they just think, oh, well, that's it. Well, not everything works. Actually, the question isn't, did it work? Can you get it to work? That's the difference. Can you get it to work? But
it's like planting a tree or planting a forest.
Very true. And then my last one is that word easy. Don't underestimate how much dedication and effort needs to go in to get a real result. Because if it was that easy, everyone would be doing it. It takes more than that. Come to training.
Giddy up.
Training gives you energy.
It does.
Biggest real estate trainer in Australia, Lee Woodward. Thank you very, 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 very much. And James Lamflower, anything you want to finish off on from your nuggets?
Oh, it's interesting just listening to Lee speak. It's always quite fascinating listening to the way he talks and the energy he brings. So thank you very much, Lee. I'm sure we'll come back with some more. But for the moment, I'm just going to try and focus on what you said. Focus on pace. What was the acronym again? Pace, activity, commitment.
You got productivity, actions, commitment, and energy. Pace.
Close. I'm just gonna bear that in mind for the moment.
And James, you'll know you're doing well when people say, I just can't keep pace with you. You go, good. That's good. That means I'm on track.
No one can, Lee. No one can.
And I can't keep pace with Mark Novak. He scares me.
Well, that's what I'm learning from.
There you go. We'll keep pace.
Thank you very
All right,
much.
legends. Thanks for your time,
Thank you
everyone.
My pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity. Bye-bye.
See ya.
See you
Thanks.
guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.